Hi, welcome back. We have essential data set as we have discussed earlier, and those are the variables. For example, you got the gender, the age, the education, pre-training before or not. These are the demographic variable, and then on the survey standard, I've left already the essential data set has been collected on all the affecting variables that we know so far, and then we're going to calculate the score, prepare them. Now, before that, I want to tell you that preparation for the data set in terms of missing values, for example, I have mentioned earlier before that perhaps Jamovie not yet completely matured in order to handle missing values. Maybe you want to do that on other alternative available software, for example, a spreadsheet such as Excel or something like that. I have already done that. Let's check out the kind of variables we have. The gender here, for example, could be the female, and this could be the male. Next, you want maybe to make sure the age, it is a continuous, the education level as well, if you like also to write about them. The kind of a training, for example, we said we had like a number of previous training. Now, the important is what I want to share with you, those statements. So we saw before from 1 to 6, and some of them were to be reversed. And I'm going to show you how to do that. But before that, just make sure one thing, it is an opinion. Usually in Jamovie or other statistical software, you might consider those as a nominal. I prefer to look at them as an ordinal. It's my personal opinion, although in the computation nothing will change, but for documentation purpose, it's better to stick with some standard, make sure the quality of your work is correct. We said we need to reverse the first statement and the third and the fifth. Now, the reversing mechanism in Jamovie is quite straightforward. So I'm going to deal with the variable. What you want to add, is it a data variable? Is it computed or transformed? So basically, since we are reversing, we want to transform. So this is a new complete variable. You see, it's been added already by T1 as a default name. You can ask you to choose the name. I'm going to say this is for the first question, the angst 1 and being transformed, for example. And then I could like write some description. This is the reverse score. And then it asked me which variable you want to actually transform. I want to transform this variable. And then it asks you which model. We don't have any. So we're going to create a new transform. This new transform will be as a template. These are reverse on 5-point scale. But important to say what you want to do with it. So I will say if at record condition. If the variable is equal to, because you got like some options here, equal to, not equal to, listen. So we're going to, if it is equal to, say 5, I want to consider it as 1. Add a new one. If it is equal to 4, I want to consider as 2. Add one more. Of course, if it's a 3, keep it a 3. So we will leave it for now. So if it is 2, let's say, because 5, 4, 3, leave it, and 2, make it 4, right? And then we got, if it is equal to 1, you want to make it 5, all right? And then otherwise, just leave it as a 3. Okay. Now the scale is better ready. We know we implemented. Now, if you look, Jamovie had already computed. For example, 3 kept it at 3, but 2, this is the original variable here, right? This is 2 reverse into 4. This is 1 reverse into 5, etc. So if I want to do this for the second variable, for example, angst 3 standard, I'm going to go to transform. But this time, watch carefully when I say, for example, this is angst 3 transformed. Write the descriptions alike, and the source variable on angst 3. All right. Now, I don't need to make again. The template has been already saved. So you can just use the reverse on 5 point. So it means you can create multiple transform templates, 5 point, 7 point, 4 point, and reverse them. And then you choose depends on. You get the point. So become more productive in a way. So I hope the reverse mechanisms are quite clear to you. Now, at the end, after I finish, I want to calculate the total score for anxiety. I'm going to add the variable. I'm going to this time say on a computed variable, insert. He's asking me, okay, what is the name? I will say, for example, this is the anxiety score of anxiety. I think that he's asking me here, offering me a number of functions, right? Math functions, you've got statistical function, text function, etc. What I'm interested in actually, there's some. By double click it will form an. It's then asking you which variable you wanted to compute. So first of all, I will take the first statements, which is anxiety, but the transformed one, don't forget, this is the reversed one, right? We transformed this. We'll take this one and then comma and the second one and then the third, and it's been transformed, don't forget, don't take the standard one, and then we get the fourth, and we get the fifth, and then we get the sixth. So those are all the statements within the variable. Once we are done, you will see that Jamovi have already calculated the score of anxiety depends on these 6 statements. So this total score, and it is continuous as we wish to have it in a continuous form. Now, same thing you do for the rest of the other. I want to mention the new things that for your extra information. Now, as you are done, some of them might be in the range of 70, in the 50, or maybe 40, something like that. We've earlier discussed in one of our previous sessions that sometimes you might encounter with some variable, the range of it different from others. And during the analysis, you're going to be careful, especially when you compare means. And I have suggested that we can use a normalized technique, such as, for example, calculating the z-score technique. Why is that important? Because by the end, I would have a compact data set. All the means are within the same range. So in this case, I would avoid any misleading conceptual analysis then. So the z-score, basically what it does, now you have this variable, x bar, the average on these values. And then you calculate also the standard deviation. So basically what you do then, you take the first value and then subtract it from the x bar and you divide it by its standard deviation. Then you will get a value between -1 and 1. So why is that important? Because this become a normalized value. Now, Jamovi offered me an easy step to make the z-score on this. Basically, what I would do, I would again add a variable, but this one, do the computed one, it doesn't really matter. So we'll call this one is anxiety z-score, for example. So basically, if you open again the function tab and come to the math side, then the statistical side somewhere way down here, yes. This is the z-score. Which variable? Of course, we need the total one, this one. There's the tag here. It's been added automatically because the anxiety here is considered to be an added variable. All the values have been already converted into a value between -1 and 1. So that's it. So by the end, you could have a compact, clean, calculated data set that is ready for an eventual analysis to produce the answers for the research question. I will see you then.